How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with The Movie Castle, and today we're going to be talking about a Friday the 13th film that I believe I'm the only one on YouTube that's actually done a full review for. It's an official film, yet I went to look up more about it and I found very little on YouTube, and no one else doing a straight review. This may be poor search skills on my part, but I think that even though this is official, I'm the first one to review it here, so yay. Anyway, this is Friday the 13th, The Lost Tales of Camp Blood. This is from 2008 and 2009, 2 years because it was released episodically. This is written and directed by Andrew Ceperley and stars Daniel Sykes as Eric and Matthew Hiscox as Killer. By Killer, does it mean Jason Voorhees? I don't know, and we'll get into to that whole thing in a little bit. For those of you wondering what this is, how come I've never heard of it, where can I get this? This is an episodic film that was released as bonus features on the Friday the 13th Part 1 through 6 movies, the physical media. And all the parts are 5 to 10 minutes long, so it comes out to be a pretty short movie. But that being said, if you want to get this, you have to be pretty careful. You have to look at the specific edition you're getting and make sure that it says specifically that it includes that part of The Lost Tales from Camp Blood. If it doesn't say it has it on the back, don't just hope it won't have it. And not all editions have it. And in order to stress that point, this is my edition. This collection here, Friday the 13th, 8-movie collection, in a relatively thin case, about as thick as 2 normal DVDs. This is a really common one. It was at Walmart for a long time, probably still is, and it's a good way to get the first 8 movies really cheap and really quick. But that being said, this has all the parts of Friday the 13th, The Lost Tales of Camp Blood, except for Part 3. So I had to go out and buy Part 3 separately just to watch this movie. Now, I did get a Blu-ray upgrade, and I did buy it during a buy 2 get 1 free sale, so I did get it for free, but still I had to go out and hunt down a loose release just to be able to watch this movie. You know how earlier I was talking about how you have to make sure your specific release has it? Well, Friday the 13th Part 3, being a 3D movie, has even more releases than a normal one. Some releases don't have it in 3D and some do. So it's the hardest part to find, and I had to flip through lots of used movie stores before I saw a copy that actually had Lost Tales of Camp Blood Part 3 in it. So you gotta have to do a lot of work to find this, and yeah, it's work to hunt it down, and work to actually, when you sit down and watch it, you have to keep getting up and changing the disc every 5 to 10 minutes, so it's it makes you work for this movie. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump right into the plot and talk about what this is about. I'm not going to do any major spoilers, but that being said, I do want to say my piece on a few plot points and make sure you guys have a general idea as to what this movie's about. So let's go ahead and talk about the movie. It opens with this couple in a cabin. Now, the title of this is Friday the 13th, The Lost Tales from Camp Blood. Camp Blood is a local nickname for Camp Crystal Lake. So even though we don't see any Camp Crystal Lake memorabilia, we can assume this cabin is somewhere near Camp Crystal Lake, even though it never spells it out, and I don't think you actually see the lake in this. But anyway, this couple in a cabin, presumably near Camp Crystal Lake, when a killer breaks in and kills them. Is this killer Jason? We don't know. He has a hood on and he has a bald head. You never get a super clear look at his face, but it doesn't appear that his face has any significant physical deformity. I don't know why they didn't just put a hockey mask on someone and call him Jason. If I had to guess, granted that this was from 2008 and 2009, I would bet that would have to deal with the super big legal complications around the Friday the 13th series. They probably said, hey, we want to do a new film, but because of the legal battle, you can't use the hockey mask and you can't officially call him Jason. That's what I would guess, but I don't know for sure. So it's just some killer that might be Jason. We'll get into some theories about that at the end there, but your guess is as good as mine. If you've seen it and you have any ideas, feel free to drop your comment as to who this killer is, because it never explains it. So, fun fan theory time, I guess. The killer quickly dispatches with the couple in the cabin, but we learn that they're waiting on another couple, Eric and this girl, presumably his girlfriend, and we cut to them a little bit ago in the second part of this, and we find that their car broke down. They try calling someone on a payphone, which kind of dates this, but they try calling someone, they can't get anybody, so they push their car to the side of the road and walk to the cabin, which is why they're late, and along their way, they encounter the same killer that just killed their friends. Eric manages to get away and finds the cabin and finds that his friends are killed, and that leads him on a big, long chase sequence with Jason, every now and then encountering other people who he will try to save, but this is Friday the 13th, and they are basically cannon fodder. So, not a super big story, primarily one guy running from Jason, meeting other people that soon die. So, that is one thing that we have to talk about with this. This is a remarkably bare-bones story, and I know I feel weird criticizing what's essentially a bonus feature, but don't expect to know too much about any of the characters or have any plot other than I'm running from Jason. If it is Jason, let's try not to die. And it's a guy running around trying not to die. Every now and then something interesting will happen. They do try to make each part have kind of its own theme, like there's the one with the parking garage set, or there's the one with this other couple that show up for a little bit. And, you know, there are some good moments, but it doesn't really have any big sense of a story, just more a Friday the 13th prolonged kill sequence. And I should get to the kills. Now, there's nothing in here as good as the best Friday the 13th kills, like the dry ice or the sleeping bag, but they do a good job on the kills. It's all relatively simple stuff, but they know that Friday the 13th, you do have this sense of build-up and the sense of struggle with Jason, so it's not that he just goes in and stabs you, woohoo, done. You do struggle, and Jason does, you know, have his sense of, okay, I gotta get you, I gotta do this, and, you know, you do get a few major shots of the kill sequence rather than just going in and out and not really paying attention. So they did choreograph them well enough, and I like that they did pay attention to make sure they weren't just doing the same thing every time. They give Jason a few different weapons and a few different ways to kill people, and I think a few of them were actually barehanded. So you get like a guy he squashes with his boot, an axe, machete, the classic machete, and a knife, so I did like that they paid attention enough to choreograph them decently and have variety, but that being said, there's nothing too great or stand out, no amazing kills here, but they did do a good job for what they were. But that being said, the biggest thing is the music. Now, it's all recycled from Friday the 13th, or at least most of it is. But you really, because you're in a weird circumstance where a lot of the other Friday the 13th stuff is missing and a lot of the story in this is bare bones, you do actually pay attention to the score and the musical cues, and I couldn't help but notice how it provided such a Friday the 13th atmosphere, even though we weren't seeing too many Friday the 13th things. And I'm not a guy that appreciates music as much as he should, but seeing this and going, that's Friday the 13th, and I can tell from the music, I have to give that major applause because it helps tie the whole thing in more than any story element, because like I said, this is trying to put away, I think because of legality, trying to put away any distinctive marks so they can actually shoot this story and not worry about copyright infringement, which is weird because this is an official entry. But anyway, the music, you really do learn to appreciate it when everything else is kind of taken away. But in regards to everything being taken away, yeah, that's the biggest thing is, what is this? We know from the title and the fact that it's on a Friday the 13th DVD that this is part of the Friday the 13th series. It's called Lost Tales of Camp Blood, and it really does feel like a lost tale because what is this? And it's Camp Blood in the name, so we know it must be taking place at Camp Blood, aka Camp Crystal Lake. But other than knowing that from the title, we don't see too many direct tie-ins. There is one scene where they're in a cabin and a guy struggling with Jason trying to get to a phone, even though by the time Jason's there, it's too late to call for help. But he's trying to get to a phone, and the scene's kind of choppily edited, and I'm not really sure what happens, but Jason drops his knife for some reason, and it wasn't a blow. It looks more like he saw something and dropped his knife, and I think that may be a blue sweater. There's some piece of blue cloth in this scene, and I think it may have been a blue sweater, which may have jogged his memory of the sweater that Pamela Voorhees died in. And if that is what this scene was going for, because it wasn't super clear as to why Jason dropped his knife, if it was the reason he dropped his knife, if it was the blue sweater, then that would literally be the only thing in here confirming that this is in fact Jason. The physical resemblance, he's bald and big, but his face isn't deformed, he doesn't have his mask, and he has his hood, so he does like to hide his face, but I don't know who this is. Is it Jason? Is it not? And I have what I think are the three most distinct likelihoods. If this is in the original timeline that almost all the Friday the 13th movies are set in, Jason should be looking pretty worn and beat up by this point. I don't know, maybe for some reason he might look different, but he should look pretty bad by this point, and he should be very attached to his hockey mask. Keep in mind, if this movie is set when it came out, this is 2008 and 2009, and the parts of Jason X that are set in the present are from the far-off future year of 2010. So this is right before Jason gets caught by gets locked up in the Camp Crystal Lake research facility. So I actually think if this is in the main continuity, it's pretty much gotta not be him. We know from a flip phone that this is set in the future, in the present, and not like in the 1980s with, you know, hey, this, you don't know when this movie's set. There's a cell phone, so it takes place in 2008. So I don't think this is Jason in the main continuity. If this is main continuity, they're showing us that there's another killer by Camp Crystal Lake, maybe implying that killers in Camp Crystal Lake are inevitable, it's destiny. I'm not sure. The other distinct possibility is this is made in 2008 and 2009. The Friday the 13th reboot came out in 2009. They probably put out these editions to kind of strike while the iron's hot, get new editions of the Friday the 13th movies out, get people hyped for the reboot. So maybe these take place in the reboot universe before the movie, and Jason just isn't messed up yet and he hasn't found his potato sack mask. Now don't get me wrong, this doesn't end with him getting his face messed up and then putting on the sack mask, but I'm saying if it is Jason, maybe it's the reboot universe and it takes place before the reboot movie. I don't know. The third distinct possibility is that this is its own continuity. Maybe this is what Jason looks like in yet another reboot or timeline. I'm not entirely sure, but that's my analysis on what I think are the three biggest possibilities. My dog just started drinking. I'm sorry if you can hear her licking up the water there. That's what that sound effect is. But anyway, this is a weird case. It's an okay enough story. It's Jason killing more people, not in the most interesting ways, but it is more Friday the 13th kill sequences. I don't know what the story relates to the main story, and that being said, it's just a chase scene with a few extra people getting killed, and the story itself isn't that great. It's an okay enough and interesting thing to watch if you have all the parts, but don't work too hard trying to hunt down all these additions, because it's not really super great, but if you find it, if you have access to it, you might as well watch it. And if you're getting new editions of the Friday the 13th movies, or maybe this is your first time buying them, you might as well make sure that it has them on there. And like I said earlier, these are parts 1 through 6 that you need to be checking for. It's only 6 parts. But yeah, I guess it's okay enough, for what it is. But don't work too hard on it. Anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everybody who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping this channel out. I'll put a relevant playlist on the bottom. If you want to see more stuff, I'm sure I have something. I actually just recently passed 300 videos, so I'm sure I have more that you might like. So, relevant playlist on the bottom. Have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon.